Hello and welcome to the Comic Vault. First things first, I want to say sorry about the audio in this video. I recorded a whole review, and I realized the audio is fine. It just sounds a little weird. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, let me know. Give me any feedback on this video, and yeah, enjoy it. This is a review video. I'm not. It's not much of like an analysis video. I'm not like going deep and complex with the video. I mean, I will if it happens, but the point of this is just to give my opinion and my thoughts and my review of a TV show, and the TV show is in the title. It is BoJack Horseman. I have finished BoJack Horseman. I finished it last night. It was quite an experience, and I had to talk to someone about it, and I thought I should talk to you guys about it because not a lot of people I know watch BoJack Horseman. I mean, and there are people that I do know who watch BoJack Horseman, but who really has the time to just, I'm not really near them right now, so I mean, it's just kind of odd if I were just to talk to them just about the show. So it'd be easier to talk to you guys, and this is a review. So I don't know where to start. I don't have this completely scripted, and my eyes might wander a lot just because I'm trying to think about what to come up with. But actually, let me move my keyboard because I have it on my laptop because I haven't watched Netflix on my computer in a while. I found this show at a transitional period in my life. They're always saying BoJack Horseman walks into your life when it needs to be in your life. I think that's very spiritual, and it's like I I don't think it needs to appear in your life when it needs to. I think it's just a TV show you can put on whenever you want. But I do like to think about stuff like that. So I wasn't depressed, but I was just moved into college. I think it was end of September. It was either middle or end of September when I started season 2, because I started season 1 in the summer and I liked it. I finished season 1. I actually finished season 1 pretty quickly, um, because it was new and I was excited to figure out what was going on. But then after season 1 happened, I didn't really continue it for like 4 months, or that's a lie, for like 2 months. So 2 months later, I finally started season 2, and it took me around end of September to beginning of January to finish this show. So that's October, November, December. That's roughly 3 months spent on this show. Um, that's actually pretty short considering it's only 12 seasons. I mean, 12 episodes a season. And in each episode is about 26 minutes. Um, but uh, yeah, I took breaks because I didn't want to finish the whole thing in like 2 weeks. Um, so yeah, like I said, I started season 1 in the summer. Um, and we're just gonna go through a couple of my standout episodes per season, and then at the end, we're gonna go through um my top 3 episodes of the whole series, and what I think about each character, my first impressions of them, and my last impression of them. So season 1 was decent. A lot of people don't like season 1. I actually really do like season 1. Now, in comparison or in relation, however you want to say it, to the rest of the show, it's the worst. It's the worst season of the whole show. But as a season itself, I think it was a bad season to start off with the show because it hasn't, like, sure, um there are some things that they did. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, like, Netflix didn't know what was gonna happen, I assume. Like, when I watched this first season and I was a production company, I'd be like, okay, keep this on the air, and then they eventually get to like the later seasons and it's like, we didn't expect this. So I think they kind of catfished them with this season, but catfished them, I guess, in a good way because I mean it wasn't even that good of a season yet. It was still successful. Um, I quite liked the first episode. I need to watch it again, but I um there's like cutaway segments like what Family Guy did, so they were really much um going for the adult animation quirks that Family Guy and all of them do, which they later found out that they don't need to do that. Um, So season one has some pretty cool episodes. Although the episode that really sticks out to me is episode 8. I believe it's 7 or 8. One of them is the telescope or whatever. When it's one of the first moments where there's a plot twist in the show, like a really like a plot twist for cartoons, I guess you could say. Because BoJack goes to Herb's house after he's dying from cancer, and he wants to make amends, and Herb doesn't accept his apology because Herb, as a gay man in the 90s, got fired from his own show he created because he was gay, and BoJack helped get him fired. And Herb, well, the career is one thing for Herb. I remember him say what hurt the most was BoJack didn't really check up on him afterwards. It was just like BoJack basically dropped him. That's what hurt Herb the most, is if I remember correctly. Sorry. So because BoJack didn't keep up with Herb afterwards, Herb doesn't accept his apology, and Herb dies, cursing at BoJack and basically not wanting to see him again. And that's kind of the start of when BoJack and the audience is like, "Whoa, whoa, what happened?" And then episode 11, genre ending, if I remember correctly. I haven't seen this in since the beginning of the summer. Was it this summer or last summer I started the show? I don't remember. Anyway, I think episode 11, it ends with BoJack going to Diane's book tour or whatever it is, and he's like, "Is there still time for me? Am I a good person? I need you to tell me I'm a good person, Diane, please." Which is that season, or is that, I'm getting stuff confused. But anyways, like, is there still hope for me? Is this the end? Am I a good person? Something like that. I need to watch it again. I actually haven't watched season one in forever, so it's the least memorable season just because I haven't watched it in a while. But I forget if that's when I know at some point Diane's like, I think that's a later season actually. I forget what season it is, but it's a later season where Diane is like, I don't think you're a good or a bad person. I just think you're a person who can do good or bad things. Because Diane said that she doesn't really believe in good or bad people or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, let's go to season 2. Now, season 2, episode 1 is a very standout episode for me because that is when I believe is that when he watches Secretariat on the TV, and Secretariat gives him he reads the letter from BoJack, and the Secretariat's like, just keep running. Doesn't care what other people think about you. Just keep running, and leave all those people behind you. Well, Secretariat means like the bad people in his life, but BoJack probably took it as anyone in his life, you know. But I really like Secretariat. I'm trying to figure out if Secretariat or Filbert was the most important like storyline in the show, like one of the most important projects that he worked on. Because we know horsing around is in the past. Horsing around is like the moment before, I guess, the story happens, even though it's 20 years earlier. Filbert and Secretariat are like during the show, and it's his two biggest projects that he works on. And I'm trying to see which one is most influential to him, because Secretariat is most influential for his career and who he looks at as a father figure, which we find out later on. Filbert is really important towards like him losing himself into the character, and he doesn't know what's reality and what's fiction, and it's like it's a whole parallel of his life. And then he's addicted to pills, which caused the whole he doesn't know what's real or fake. Which that was a very creative episode. But then season 2, episode 1 also I remember because I did season 2, episode 1 it's been only 3 months since I've seen it. It's the ending is. Let me just click on it just to make sure. Oh my god, there's ads though. Okay, while I talk, I believe the ending is BoJack's mom calling him, and I think it's the first time we see BoJack's mom in the present. She calls BoJack and she says like, you were born broken, and I'm sorry." And then after the phone call, he starts to cry. I think that's season 2, episode 1. I don't remember. But season 2 was also a decent season. Like I said, I think the seasons just go up and up and up. Like they start here and they just go up. It's never like this, the seasons always go like that. But season 2 is also another, after all the stuff they do, the Hank apocalypse, whatever, and all that. I think 2 more episodes really stand out to me in this season. The Shot, episode 9, and Escape from LA, episode 11. So The Shot is when Kelsey and all of them go to the Nixon Museum or something to have this shot that the tortoise guy, I forget his name, but the tortoise guy rejects. They all break into this place. I think Margot Martindale is in that episode as well. She's like a very important character. She's like not even to be like ironic or anything, but she's like very important to the story of this story. They break into the Nixon Museum, and BoJack can't really get his acting right. I don't think. If I'm remembering correctly, I think BoJack's having a hard time like acting. So then Kelsey's like, Kelsey says, let me see what does Kelsey say? I guess, yeah, I think the first episode when he calls him. But anyway, Kelsey says to him like, "This is the moment where Secretariat stops running," and then they got the shot. And then Escape from LA is as an episode itself, it's fine, but as a storyline that haunts BoJack for the rest of the series, it's a very important one. Like I said, as an episode, it's okay, I guess. I didn't really care too much about the whole BoJack staying with the Deer family. I forget their names already. I think Penny's the daughter. I forget the mom's name though. But BoJack staying with the Deer family, taking Penny to prom. I was like, it was like okay, but then it made sense afterwards. So BoJack, I don't know. I'm acting like these people are real people and they're gonna cancel me. BoJack was gonna sleep with Penny. But the thing is, was he? I sound so like messed up saying that, but even in the show, it's like a theme where BoJack doesn't even know if he was gonna do it or not. I mean, he's like so full of himself because they were literally getting down and they were literally on the mattress. BoJack left that door open for Penny to come in. He was gonna do something. Come on now. But Penny or the mom caught them, and then that's when BoJack left. What's it called? So that was a very important storyline that haunts BoJack for the rest of the season. Alright, now we're on season 3. I'm trying to actually wrap this up because I don't want this to be a huge long episode. Season 3 was also another fine season. I'm saying fine like they're not good. Like this is also another very good episode. I mean, another good season. I think although I do think like Fish Out of Water was a very creative episode, but I don't want to talk about it too much. It's a very unique episode. But I think episode 11 was the first time where okay, this is a bit of a hot take, but I don't I care for Sarah Lynn's character, and I was very sad that she died. But her as a character and all her flaws and all that, it's just I don't I care for her as a character, but I don't like her. I don't like her as a person. I think she's gotten screwed over by BoJack and Hollywood and her parents, and she fell into drugs. But I don't like her, and that's okay. I don't like her as a character. I don't know. It's very tricky for me to put an opinion on her because I I don't know. I just don't like her. It might be the voice because I just think about Mabel from Gravity Falls, and I just don't like hearing the voice on Sarah Lynn. That's a whole other opinion that is probably wrong of me to say. Um, because I love Mabel's voice. And it's wrong of me to say she was annoying because sure she was annoying, but what does that mean? I mean, she was such a tragic character that her being annoying is so surface level of me to say why I don't like her. I don't know. I'm not a fan of her. Let me just say that. But I like what she brings to the show, and I like how she also haunts BoJack. Um, but episode 11, the finale, they show BoJack and her at the planetarium, and that's where she dies. And it was one of the first times um, where I truly felt um, sad from a BoJack episode, and I went to sleep that night, and I had this weird emotional like dreams about people. Like I had dreams about people I care for in life, and like I don't know. It's an episode like BoJack cared for Sarah Lynn and he lost her. So I had dreams that night about like people that I care about in my life, and it just made me so sad for like a week. So like I was like whoa, and I think that's when I took a little bit of a break from the show. And then the finale, I think the season 3 finale is when uh he's driving down the down the road, and I think all the horses are running. I think that's season 3 finale if I remember. But yeah, season 3 was very good. And then we go to season 4, which yeah, I remember actually. Okay, I took a break from season 3 to season 4. Season 4 was the first season where I loved it. Like this season, like right here is where I loved what was going on because the first 3 seasons are good. Seasons 1 and 2 are good. Season 3 is very good, and season 4 is when I was just end of season 3, and then season 4 is when I was really like into the show. Um, so let's just start off. The first episode's good, but let's start off with the old Sugarman place, where I thought it was one of the best episodes of TV to like show a back and forth storyline, but made it natural and smooth. They had his mom when she was a kid, and then they have BoJack fixing up the house. The same locations, but they showed the back and forth, um, past and present, and they were able to do it really naturally. If you look at shows like I don't really know many shows to do it, but let's just say Arrow. The first 5 seasons showed the first 5 seasons took place within the 5 years that Oliver was stranded on that island. So each season was a year on that island, while also showing a year in present day. And when you have a show like that where 5 seasons of your show is back and forth, you can't really make it like quirky and smooth. You have to like have like hard cuts to show the past and the present and to make it make sense. But BoJack, I'm not trying to compare, but BoJack was very creative with how they showed the past and the present with the old Sugarman place. Um, so I really liked that episode. It was very very good. And it it was the start of understanding Beatrice Horseman's past. So I really liked that episode. I think Hollyhock's whole storyline was also very good in my opinion because you find out who Hollyhock actually is in um Time's Arrow. Time's Arrow is an episode that really sticks out to me. It's mainly a backstory episode, but the way they do it is very creative, and it shows Beatrice's backstory, but within the mindset of the old lady who has dementia. So we have faces that are blurred because she doesn't remember the faces. stuff in the background is constantly changing, and they're constantly like teleporting everywhere. Henrietta, the I thought Henrietta was just a made up person that her mind made up, but Henrietta is an actual maid that they had, and her face is all scratched out, which is very creative. And it turns out Henrietta is the mother of Hollyhock, and they share the same. Hollyhock and BoJack share the same father. Um, and another like thing that people don't talk about much in Time's Arrow is how BoJack's dad was a working man who wanted to support his family, and while Butterscotch may not have been the best person, I truly believe this family made him worse as a person because Beatrice offered Butterscotch a job at her father's company or something, which I don't know how you're still in touch with your father after what he did to you. But anyway, Butterscotch was like, "Fine, I'll take the job, but if I become a rich socialite who cares for nothing, who doesn't have time for his book, and who becomes super moody, this is on you." And that's what he becomes. And then it ends with one of my favorite scenes in the show: the back and forth of Beatrice and Henrietta giving birth to baby BoJack and baby Hollyhock, and it was a very sad. Like, I watched Time's Arrow, and I just got sad watching baby BoJack and baby Hollyhock because they didn't come from like, I don't know, they didn't come from great families, and they were just born into this world. And Henrietta had Beatrice with her. Beatrice was there when she was giving birth, and then the parallels of Henrietta saying, "No, I want to see my baby. I want to see my baby," and then Beatrice is like, "No, you'll only get attached." And then back then we have Beatrice, her little baby doll. Her dad was burning it, and he was like, "No, just give me my baby." And then Beatrice's dad was like, "No, this will only make you stronger or something. We gotta burn everything that you know because of your sickness." And they both lost their baby, and the dad was like, "You don't want to turn out like your mother, do you?" And then his mom, post lobotomy, is out there as a silhouette, and Beatrice is like, "No," and that broke my heart, and that scene right there made me understand Beatrice. And the whole season 4 plot line, not let me not say that, but it just, some aspects, a very minute aspect of what happened, like hit close to home in certain ways. Like, I don't know, not really, but no, not really, but there are some things that remind me of things that hit close to home, but nothing to this extent. It got me thinking about, like, if this were to happen, like, it could have, it just got me thinking about my real life, and but it was only like a very minute storyline that they did, which I'm not gonna get into, but anyway, that as you can tell, the penultimate episodes are very good in this show, because I've shouted out every single penultimate episode. Drowner ending, Escape from LA, That's Too Much Man, and Time's Arrow. So it's good as season 5. Now, season 5 was one of my favorite seasons because it felt very serialized. It felt like it was still like episodic in a cartoon nature, but season 5 felt very tight with the storylines going on. And I think it was very, season 4 and 5, the humor went up, but then the drama went up too. That's why I liked it so much, because they're very funny seasons, but then they're very dramatic seasons as well. I think season 6, I feel like season 6 is the one of the best seasons, but it's not that funny, I feel like. But anyway, that's for later. I don't want this to. Okay, 40 minutes is my 40 minutes is my cutoff time. I think we're good. I don't want to make this super long. Let's just have it. Yeah. Season 5, literally every single episode in this season, I really enjoyed. Um, as well as season 6. But let me just go to the very basic, I guess you could say, which I mean, there's a reason why everyone likes it. Free churro, a whole eulogy at a funeral, and I think the reason why I like it so much is because it's a whole. He gets to finally reveal his feelings towards his mother, um, which a lot of these episodes have to do with his mother, which they're always good when they do. But that's also another inkling of why I like them so much. But Free Churro, he talks for like 26 minutes and it's never boring. You're very captivated with with what he's talking about. And I was gonna do a monologue from this. I was gonna do like a section of the episode as a monologue for one of my classes, but I ended up not doing it. It was gonna be the lady at the lady at the Jack in the Box gave me a free churro, and it was like I'm your son. You're the only thing that something like that. I forget. Uh, all I had. I'm your son. All I had. I'm your son. All I had was you. I think that's a scene from it. But free churro is very good, and then turns out he's not even at the funeral. Which if you do want me to get more in depth with episodes and what I think about them, then let me know. Anyway, Mr. Peanut Butter's Booze was a very good episode. I really enjoyed Mr. Peanut Butter's Booze. It was like a whole compilation of his dates that he brings um, to BoJack's house. And episode 11 and 12, I'll just put it as like one episode. I mean, the penultimate is there, of course, and episode 12. Episode 11 is when BoJack forgets what's real and what's fake. Like he doesn't know what's real and what's fake. The whole episode surrounds that, and then he ends up choking. What was her name? Oh, I know her name. I just forget it right now. She chokes Gina. He chokes Gina. Um, and then the stopped show is when he does his PR crisis. And Princess, I haven't even mentioned like Todd, Princess Carolyn, Diane. I just talked about like the context of the episodes. But I'll talk about the characters very briefly, as brief as I can later on. But yeah, episode 11 and 12, I really like. It the whole season 5, I really enjoyed. It was one of my favorite seasons. It's like my second favorite season. But anyway, season 6, it had so many good episodes because they were wrapping up so many great character arcs. But let's just go with the view from halfway down. That episode stood out to me, and then why? You wanna know why? Well, let's get into the next segment. So we're gonna skip that for now. So next segment will be my top 3 episodes of the whole series. And the view from halfway down is in the top 3. So that's why I want to do that. But anyway, I truly believe. So third place can be uh literally any episode in this show. So I could replace third place with literally anything, but I think I will go with as like an episode. I don't know. I'll just go with like I could say any episode. I could say any episode, but I'll go with the first episode where I was truly like, wow, and it's season 2, episode 1, only because it's a great BoJack episode. Still has the humor, but the ending, his mom calls him and he says, "Hey, I'm sorry, but you were born broken, and I'm sorry you're like this." Very backhanded and stuff like that, but anyway, I don't want to get too much to the top my third place because that could be any episode. Now my top 2, they can be intertwined. But as of now, as it stands, as a BoJack episode, like with the humor, with writing, dialogue, and all that, and it's not the best episode. I wouldn't put this. It's not better. Like my top 2 aren't better than one another. They're just both good, and they're both equally. They're both great, and it's based off my opinion. While I can say maybe top two, maybe top two, I don't know. It's really tricky to do this. This is based off my personal enjoyment and what I got from the episode. While my top two might be more important than my top one, it's still based off of the enjoyment I got out of it, based off of emotions and humor and all that, and just writing. Top two, my second place is The View from Halfway Down. And you might be like, what? That's not your favorite episode? It could be my favorite episode, but as of now, it stands that it is my second place. The View from Halfway Down. Um, I have a lot to talk about for The View from Halfway Down, so I'm not going to talk about it now. But it's second place because first place, it was sadder to me. I don't know if sad is the right word. It was more heartbreaking. The View from Halfway Down made me feel sad, but also like empty inside. But number one is Time's Arrow, and that just made me feel like the ending of that just made me feel destroyed because it's about mothers, and yeah, there's not much to say about my own personal experience. It's just stuck close to home with the theme surrounding about moms, and and I just don't uh see her often. That's the best way to put it. Um, and it just destroyed me also with like the father um burning her kids' toys. And I already talked about Time's Arrow earlier, so it really Time's Arrow was also, I was watching it in my college dorm. I was like everyone was like out for some reason. I think why was I the only one in my dorm at that time? My one roommate was out doing a project. My other roommate was, I don't know where he was, cause he's always in that room. I don't know where he was at that time. Anyway, I was like by myself, and it was just like I was just like, okay, well, great. I watched this sad episode. I'm by myself. I can't talk to anyone about it because my roommate likes BoJack Horseman. So it's like, okay, great. I'm gonna be here for a couple hours by myself, and I just watched this very emotional episode. What am I gonna do? And I was just like, kind of just sad for the rest of the day. Um, so yeah. Anyway, let's go to The View from Halfway Down, because that deserves its own segment itself. Because um, I didn't I didn't know what to expect. I've always heard about The View from Halfway Down because that's a very good episode from the series. I didn't I didn't It was good because I didn't know what I was gonna expect at all. Like I didn't know what to expect. And it starts off as a very sweet episode, and it's like, I'm glad you're here, buddy. Like Herb says, I'm glad you're here. And he's all the people in his life who died. I don't know why Zach Braff was there. I understood he died in the show, but what importance does he have to BoJack? Anyway, um, what was it? Yeah, and it was kind of like he gets to see his younger mom, and his young mom is still like, hey, his younger mom is still has the same attitude, so that's fine. He gets to meet his uncle who died before he was born. Uh, Baby Sarah Lynn is, well, younger Sarah Lynn is there. Herb is there. And as the episode goes on, it's like BoJack has had these dreams before. Um, every now and then the characters change. I think Sarah Lynn changes. Well, I know because I watched it last night. But Sarah Lynn changes to like teenager to then adult, all within the same scene. And I think there's some moments where Beatrice becomes the old lady, and then she goes back to being the young lady. Herb, I think, changes. I don't know. It's another very creative episode with the animation, the unspoken visual cues that we see throughout the episode, which I really like. Um, Dang, 40 minutes was gonna be my timer, wasn't it? Well, there's some stuff I'm gonna cut out because I feel like I went on rants for no reason. But Anyway, the view from halfway down. Like I said, it starts off with BoJack thinking he's dreaming, and then when it gets to the showtime, BoJack realizes that something's wrong because he thought he'd wake up, and then everyone does their performance. Sarah Lynn does her goofy performance, and then she goes away. Um, well, she falls down. The view from she falls down, and then who's next? I think let's say Zach Braff is next, and then we'll have I think Secretariat. Secretariat, who's supposed to actually be his father figure is Secretariat. So it's a mix of both Secretariat and his father, which is, like they said, is kind of weird. But it's not weird. It's just weird within the show. And then that is when Secretariat performs his view from halfway down poem. Now, I've never had thoughts about doing that to myself, and I've never had thoughts about not being on this earth anymore, as lightly as I can put it. Um, but that really got to me. That poem and the visuals and his pleas that he's not ready and that he regrets it and he doesn't want to go anymore. And then he went and he jumped off the bridge, and that really got to me. I didn't cry, but that like yeah, that really got to me. I think uh uh, I think this is a great episode for those who do feel like that, though. I mean, it gets me a little sad thinking about it, but for those who do feel hopeless, I think that poem itself and that episode is very helpful. Um, but I do think you need the context of this whole show. Maybe not, but I think the context of the whole show does help. So go ahead and watch the whole show if you're feeling down in the dumps. Because, I mean, you might feel more down in the dumps, but eventually you'll understand that there are some things that are worth living for, you know. Anyway, the Secretariat falls backwards or whatever, and I think his mom has this a nice last dance with Beatrice and her her brother. They play I forget the song, but it's a really nice song that they play in the old Sugarman place. I think they play that song, and they do it again, a reprise. I guess you could say it's instrumental. She dances around. Then the brother falls backwards, and then the mom kind of just gets engulfed by this blackness, and she disappears. And it's Herb and BoJack, and I think it was around before the Secretariat scene, but around there, BoJack's like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta call someone. I gotta call someone. And I knew who he was gonna call because, come on, who else is he gonna call? It only makes sense, you know. But he doesn't get to call anyone until Herb leaves this earth or this mindscape, this realm, um, that BoJack's near-death experience. And Herb, unlike episode 8 when we first met him, 5 seasons later, Herb is saying, um, like, not an apology, but more like, I've accepted it, BoJack, and now you need to too. You need to accept that as well. And Herb just kind of goes away in like a nice. It's like BoJack's like, is it easy? And then Herb was like, I forget what Herb said. Herb's like, it's not easy, but we all have to accept it at some point. And then he goes away. And BoJack runs away, and he gets a call, and he calls Diane, and that can get like, because he calls Diane in real life, and then when we find out in the finale, it's like, let me look up the monologue, Diane's last monologue. Oh, well, look, in the dream, the monologue or the phone call was and then I went back to the pool. It's too late. What's done is done. No, there's nothing to do, BoJack. I'm not real. None of this is real. And BoJack was like, "How was your day?" And then Diane was like, "Good." And then BoJack just wanted something positive before he died from Diane. Um, But this right here, I'm gonna read out this monologue because I really like this monologue because it's very toxic, you could say. Not toxic, but it's very detrimental to both of their characters because it's like, did you remember the last? Did you remember the last? Did you remember that you left me that voicemail? And Diane's like, I thought you were sober. You told me you were sober, and things were good in my life, and I was thinking about my future. And I woke up one morning and I heard this voicemail. You were happy in the voicemail. You sounded happy, or slightly sardonic, or ghibli nihilistic, or however you describe that feeling you get. That's the closest to the emotion normal people call happy. And you were clearly intoxicated, and you were talking about swimming. I'm going swimming, you said. Since nothing matters anyway and nobody cares about me, I might as well go swimming, right? That kind of goes on to the last episode, View from Halfway Down, when Secretariat talks about his suicide and how the mental version of the mental version of Secretariat regrets it, where it's kind of like BoJack fell into that pool on purpose because of this. Call me back if you don't want me to go swimming. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you don't care. Um. So that right there is like BoJack saying, "I'm going to kill myself if you don't call me back." That's a very That's toxic. That's why, oh, BoJack Horseman, how you're a very complex individual. I can never hate you, but I can never love you. Just like everyone in the show. But that right there, that the last the last Diane and BoJack conversation, when Diane talked to him about this voicemail, you know, it it was truly sad. It was sad when Diane was delivering the line, because when I was watching, could just imagine how Diane felt when BoJack was putting all that pressure on her, and the whole thing where Diane was like, "Why did you call me? You knew I was in Chicago." BoJack didn't expect you to come all the. Well, I'm not like attacking her character. I'm just like speaking how I think it is. But I think BoJack called Diane because, not for Diane to come and save him, but so that she could save him verbally. He just needed a phone call with her. Again, Diane's probably like, "Why me? Why is it always me?" And then BoJack's like, "I don't know, but you know." But yeah, that is what I think of the series. Gonna go quickly over the characters. I'm only gonna do like the main cast. Also another really good episode. Where was it? Was it season 6 or season 5? I think it was season 5. That was like one of my favorite episodes. Oh, what episode is it? It has to be season 6. Surprise! Season 6, episode 4. That was one of my favorite episodes because that was so funny. It was like a very funny episode. It was a nice, lighthearted episode in the series. But um, what was I gonna say? Um, oh yeah, my favorite character. So um, I have to say, uh, Princess Carolyn is a character I really enjoy. I know people love Princess Carolyn, but I really like her, and she's the embodiment of a person who who's successful in her career, but she wants more. She wants a family, and while she's successful in her career, she kind of all she had was that career. She didn't really have anything else she can say was hers, like a family. Um, So I love Princess Caroline. She was also a great P, PR PR, right? PR manager. Well, she was great at making celebrities look good, like BoJack. BoJack is also another great character that I like. All of his flaws and all, I mean, there's a reason why the show's revolved around him. He's the main character, you know. I don't love him. I don't hate him. I love him. I love him as a character, but as a person, if I were to know him, no. As a character, the show's revolved around. Good character, great written, greatly written. Diane as well. I love Diane. Although I like Diane. I like Diane. I like her. I like her a lot. Nothing bad to say about her. Mr. Peanut Butter. I like Mr. Peanut Butter. I really like him because you think he's just this really happy, positive, optimistic, and can't do no wrong kind of guy, but he's not like that. Just like this whole show revolves around, there's no good or bad people. It's just people who do things. You can do good things or bad things. Mr. Peanut Butter does both. He cheats on his wives. He has a bunch of wives. He dates like younger women because he doesn't like growing up or whatever. Because all the women grow up except for him, like Diane said. So I really like Mr. Peanut Butter. I don't really like people who say, "Oh, I hate Mr. Peanut Butter." It's get over it. It's a TV show. Let me not say that because I understand there's characters who people hate, sure, but Mr. Peanut Butter, there's a reason why they have flaws. You know what I mean? Um, Todd's a weird one because I didn't like Todd at first. It took me like 3 or 4 seasons to really like Todd because I thought he was just kind of annoying. Um, but then I found out that Todd wants what's best for his friends, even BoJack. He wants what's best for anybody. He's so helpful, and I really like Todd. And he's a very good person to want to be. You know, you can be smarter than him, but I mean, I hope you're smarter than Todd. Any other characters? I mean, all the other characters are really great. There's no characters that I didn't like. Beatrice is even up there. Hollyhock. Oh, Hollyhock. You deserved a better brother. And I wish we knew what was in that letter. I think what was in Hollyhock's letter? Uh, so we're never meant to know what it said, but it's like I don't feel comfortable being around you, so goodbye. A definitive, painful goodbye. Never contact her again because I mean she got rid of her number, or she blocked him at least. And she wrote that letter, and he dropped that letter, and he went back to drinking. So it's definitely like Hollyhock doesn't want to be around BoJack anymore, and I think Hollyhock was the one innocent thing in BoJack's life, and he still ruined that. Sarah Lynn is a fine character. I don't really want to get into it, but she's not an innocent character. Um, I'll say BoJack was wrong for waiting 17 minutes to call like the people and for inviting her on this drug bender, but she said that she was sober just to get back into drugs because they're better after you're sober. And she was a drug addict who made wrong decisions about herself. So I she's the one character in this show who mainly did bad decisions. So that's why I don't care for her that much. But then, like I said, that episode where she died made me sad for a week because it just she shouldn't have died. No one should die. I mean, I know it's a cartoon, but still, no one should die, especially when there was a chance that you could have saved her. But like, I feel like people hate BoJack and love Sarah Lynn, whereas the point of all this is kind of like you don't really hate or love anyone, to be honest. I mean, personally, I love Mr. Peanut Butter, and I love Princess Carolyn, and I love, you know, Diane, but I can still say that there's wrong things about them. Just like Sarah Lynn, but Sarah Lynn, in my opinion, had more. And I'm talking about adult Sarah Lynn, by the way. Like kid Sarah Lynn, she fell into that. Like that was that. It was BoJack who brought that alcohol that Sarah Lynn tried, and then she was drunk on set or whatever. And yeah, kid Sarah Lynn, innocent. Adult Sarah Lynn, um, she kind of dug her own grave. But BoJack, she dug her own grave, but BoJack equipped the shovel. That's how I'll say it. BoJack brought the shovel, but she dug her own grave. That's a great way to say it. Anyway, that's the end of this review. I'm very sorry. It was supposed to be like 20 minutes long, but I really got into the weeds of it. But now I can get it off of my system. I'm still gonna love this show, but I can finally not obsess over it. Because that's how I get. Like I'll think about a show for a while. Um, but yeah, and I hope you guys like it. And yeah, I'm gonna put um well, I'm gonna put like chapters into the video just so it's like easily watchable and you know what's gonna come next, or if you want to skip around, then that's fine. But please, please, please leave comments on your opinions of the show. There's not many cons I can say of the show. There's not, there's all pros, no cons. But with everything that humans make, well, let me not say that. But with everything that is produced, there's always gonna be good and bad to both. Like season one of the show. I'll say that. But anyway, I want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.